Okay, I'm pretty excited about doing this job. I have this condition on my seat on my truck. I have a little tear wearing in there, and that kind of bothers me. So I looked around at all the options I had, replacement seats and that type of thing. I didn't like the slip-on seat cover idea. So I found these seat covers. It's basically a reupholstery. You take off what's there and you put on this, and it's supposed to look just like the OEM sent it to you. So this was from a place called the Seat Shop, found online. It was $169 for just the bottom part. So I'll give a video step by step of how this goes. I think I have to take the seat out all the way, take it apart, put the seat, remove the old seat cover, put the new seat cover on the bottom, reassemble. So we'll see how this goes. Okay, the first step is going to be unbolt the seat from the truck. So to do that, there should be 4 bolts. Should be one under this cover, should be one under here, and there's 2 more in the back. So we'll try to get this cover off here. Stick a screwdriver in there and pop it off. Yeah. So we're going to do that on all 4 corners and take out the 4 bolts. So that's just a 13mm socket. Okay, now that I've ran the seat forward, I can get on this other back bolt. These are not. So now that I've got the rear bolts out, I'll run the seat back so I can get on these front bolts. Take those up here. These are pretty long bolts. Yeah, those are pretty long. Now that the bolts are out, you can see the seat is loose. This is a power seat, so I have some electrical connections to take care of. Got that harness right there. This also has aftermarket heating, so it's probably a separate wiring harness I'll have to find for that before I actually pull the seat out. Okay, so now take apart the wiring. We've tipped the seat up so we can see better what's going on. So this harness here looks like one of those deals that you just move the lever down and it unplugs. So when the dealer had this heated seat installed, they didn't provide any way to unplug the wires going to the seat. So what I've done, I'm going to cut them. I actually just did cut them, and I will butt splice them back together when we're finished with the job. So now the seat is ready to come out. A very wise person once said, never pick something up till you know where you're going to set it down. So I'm going to get my table out here where I'm going to set the seat down. Okay, I've got a table set out where I'm going to do my work. I'm going to try to get this out through the back door here and get it over onto this table. Okay, we've got some Torx bits here that hold these little side covers on. That's going to have to come off. Maybe another one here with a nut on the back of it. That part of the seat. Okay, just 2 screws for this.
A lot of looking around here trying to figure out if this can be done without removing the back of the seat.
What I'm going to try here is to take off, unhook these 2 hooks, which are on my new seat. I have the same 2 hooks on my new seat. So I'm going to unhook those and see what I can get loose. Okay, I'm just going to hook a screwdriver around these white plastic hooks. Oh, that came off easily. Just hope I can get something back on there later. So So I got this one loose really super easily. This one should just push down there and right off. Now with that done, that should slide. Okay. Got that part loose. My theory is if it will come out without taking the back off, then I can get the new one on without taking the back off. Maybe. See, it's hooked around the edge of the foam there. Okay. That was the reason that I thought I would have to take the back off. I'll take that strap off there. Back you up a bit so we can maybe see. I got this all out, untucked. Now this has some more little nylon clippies that work under the frame. So that's peeling off all right. More clippies up here in front. That came off. Well, my conclusion is I can get the old one off without taking the back off, without taking the back of the seat off. So that's good. Oh, we got this side here. There's a lot more involved. Get in there and try stuff. More clip here. That little clip. Now I just have this strap here. So this is where all the holsterers are out there texting me their numbers so they can put this back together for me. Okay, we got seat bottom disconnected. Last thing holding us on here. So, I believe, yes. So down here, it's kind of expecting this We have hog rings, these metal clips here. Not in the picture. These metal clips here, those are called hog rings. They aren't exactly hog rings, but they're similar. It's like the rings you put in a pig's nose to keep it from rooting. So it's just a little clip there. You bend it. They have special hog ring pliers. I don't have any, so we'll see if I can do it with something else. Otherwise, I'll have to go to town and buy some hog ring pliers. So these hog rings have to be clipped. There are a few of them. Well, I see two. Clip those. Not only clip, but bent out of the way. Ow. They are very sharp. And there's the blood. I ought to start a online game. Who can predict what minute I start bleeding? Well, so that's hog ringed right there. I can't get to the back side. Okay. There's one way to do it. So I'm noticing these little clips here. We're just not really attached to anything but the foam. So I don't know how I'm supposed to redo that. So there's more of these little orange clips back here. I'm trying not to rip them out of the foam as I get this blue part of the seat cover out of them. Okay. Seat cover is off. There were only two hog rings in this whole thing. I did pull out some of these orange clips, which was not supposed to happen. So we'll have to do something about that. So I do have some deteriorated foam here. This is where my hole was. This is the outer edge of the driver's seat, so that's where you slide in all the time. It wears that down. You can order new foam from the same place. Okay, we're going to start putting this back together. Like I said, I got some breakdown on the foam here. I've got a piece of foam that I'm going to just add on here for extra support. See how that works out. Got the new seat cover. Now this, I'll stick this in right at the last minute. This has to go around, actually, yeah, just around this pad. I'll turn this inside out, or right side in. It's already inside out. We'll get the strap around the bottom. This goes around that bar back there and hooks back up under. So here is where I had the old seat had plastic support here, and it was kind of clipped in. There's no plastic support on this one right here, like this. Nothing here, like it should have been. And there's nothing to really clip it to. If there was one, there's nothing to clip it to. Okay. These side ones go down in here. These were clipped in, these orange things. The ones I didn't pull out and clip. Clip's a lot easier than the unclip. Kind of snapped right in there. You gotta line this piece up here with the groove here. So this is the one that was hog ringed in, but to what? There's nothing metal there. I watched a video from the maker of the seat cover. They was actually doing a leather seat, and there was a bar under here, metal bar, that they were hog ringing this part too. This one has nothing substantial, but you can even hog ring it too. So a little concerned that that's not gonna fit up under there like it's supposed to. Lose your voice. Turn this inside out. Turn it right side in. Got it there. See, my issues without something to hog ring that into, I don't have a nice tight seam here. I don't have the same look. So, what can I do about that? Literally no way fasten anything here. Okay, starting to feel a little disappointed, but we'll see how it goes. I'm going to put my extra padding in here. Support that worn down foam. Trying to fit and poke and make sure everything's all right up in the corners where it's supposed to be. Okay. Now, I do have one wire still here for the heated seat. That's why I can't take it up any further. Okay, so these just kind of wrap around this framework and snap up, or they don't snap, they hook. This goes around this and hooks. Got the strap that goes around the seat belt. Okay. See if we can get this in there like the old one was. Up here on the edge, I've got to find those clippies, or yeah, ends of those straps. Bring them around this bar. There they are. Closer. Okay, so these little tails, basically these tails here, got wrapped around the bar here, and I have to pull them up to hook. There we go. Bit of a pull, but that was not very hard considering. The other side. Pull, hook. Okay, those two are hooked. See where I'm at. Okay, so that went under and hooked. That's great. These have to go each one of these things here have to hook. This hooks up under the frame, that hooks under the frame there, that hooks under there, and so on under there, corner. And this one goes way down. This one goes way down, I think between here, right?
What I am doing here is going through a lot of gyrations to get the side clips on the new cover to wrap around the framework and clip into place. This was not as easy as the online videos made it look. It took me quite a while to get this cover back on. One thing that was difficult to work around was the left-hand side cover. However, it looked like it would have been very difficult to remove, so I decided to try the lesser of the two evils and leave it on.
Okay, so I've got all the fasteners fastened. This is what I ended up with. I didn't have anything to hog ring this seam down to on the inside, so therefore it does not sit in like it originally was supposed to. Same thing on this back seam, so it's a little floaty, which I don't really like, but you know, I don't have the ugly hole here anymore, and it does match the OEM upholstery. Maybe someone else could have installed it a little better, but that's what I had to work with. Let's put it back in the truck. We got to deal with those wires we had to cut off. So we'll deal with one wire at a time to minimize risk of anything getting shorted. Pretty sure this wire is just ground, and then the other wire is just 12 volts. So we'll be careful with the other wire to not touch anything. I did leave the battery connected for this job because I needed to move the seat back and forth. Could disconnect it now, but so I don't know if you used butt splices before, but you strip the wire back, crimp it down on the wire and not on the insulation. Do one side at a time. Make sure you get a good tight crimp. Looks good. Look inside, make sure it looks good. That splice is good. We got this other one. Strip this wire. Stick it in the splice. Make sure you don't have any stray strands, not want all the wires in there. Slide right in. Good solid crimp. Looks good. Other end. Stick it in there. Crimp. Okay. So that's that connection. Now we just put the seat harness back in. It will only go one way. You got the two keys here, they're closer together, two there, they're far apart, they go on the bottom. Stick it in there all the way. Go ahead and lock it down with the lock. That's all there is to that. Make sure nothing's in your way. You're gonna land the seat back down on the bolt holes. Now we're going to just put the bolts back in. Get them all in there finger tight before you tighten anything down. That way you never put one bolt in, tighten it down all the way, because you probably need to shuffle things around to get all the holes lined up, and you can't do that once you've tightened down the bolt. I'm putting the back bolts in finger tight back here. Things lined up good. Okay. All we have to do is tighten these bolts down and we'll be done. So here's the finished product. So a couple things to point out. A little bit baggy here. The color pattern matches great, looks just like the original. All the seams look great. The edge here looks great. This is my fault. This is my fault. This is not. On the original seat, there was a rib back here that fastened down into a groove here. The new seat cover did not have this blue rib on it. And then on this part, this was the first part I took off when I was peeling the seat cover off, and these little orange clips here, this was kind of the rotten side of the seat, so these were just glued to the foam, it looks like, originally, and they just pulled right off really easily, way sooner than I could have ever unsnapped them. But had I known exactly what I was doing, maybe I could have figured out how to get these unsnapped instead of tearing them off, but probably not, because they're pretty hard to unsnap. But that's what would have held that down tight. So if you're ever doing this, be sure you don't tear your snaps off. And other than that, I think it's a good product. Looks way better. I'm way happier with this than it would be just a slip over seat cover. And so I give us a good recommendation. It was a really tough job. You got to be really committed to do this. It took me a few hours, just going from scratch, never having done it before. But I'd probably do it again if I had a vehicle that I wasn't quite ready to get rid of yet, and I wanted to make it keep looking good.